Marriage always felt simple to me. I believed trust mattered more than money, success, or expensive gifts. My wedding ring reminded me of that promise every morning. Olivia and I built 5 years of marriage together, and I never imagined doubt would become part of my daily life. For the last 3 weeks, Olivia kept coming home late. Another meeting, Olivia said while hanging a jacket near the front door. I smiled. Long day. The marketing team can't finish the new campaign without me. I saved dinner. I'm sorry. Olivia already ate at the office. Tomorrow will be better. I believed every word. Every evening followed the same pattern. My phone might stay on silent tonight. Another emergency? The company needs Olivia. I understand. Thank you for trusting Olivia. Trust came naturally to me. I never checked Olivia's phone. I never questioned late messages or unexpected calls. Love should never feel like an investigation. One Friday afternoon, I finished work earlier than expected. While driving home, an idea made me smile. I'll surprise Olivia. I stopped at Olivia's favorite Italian restaurant and ordered creamy pasta, garlic bread, and chocolate cheesecake. The employee handed me the bag. Special occasion? Just dinner with my wife. Good luck. Thanks. The warm food filled my car with a wonderful smell. I imagined Olivia laughing after seeing the surprise. That thought erased every stressful moment from my week. Traffic stayed light. Within 20 minutes, I reached the office building where Olivia worked. The lobby looked unusually quiet. A security guard nodded politely. Good evening. Good evening. I'm here to surprise my wife. Employee name? Olivia Carter. The guard typed something into a computer. A small frown appeared. I don't see Olivia inside the building. I laughed softly. Maybe Olivia forgot to scan the employee badge. That happens sometimes. Exactly. The guard looked uncertain. I can call upstairs. Please. Several long seconds passed. The guard lowered the phone. No answer. My smile slowly disappeared. Could Olivia be in another meeting room? I checked every floor. My heartbeat became louder. That can't be right. The guard looked uncomfortable. I'm sorry. I pulled out my phone and called Olivia. The call went straight to voicemail. I tried again. Voicemail. One more time. Still nothing. A strange feeling settled inside my chest. Maybe Olivia's phone battery had died. Maybe the meeting happened somewhere else. Maybe I was worrying for no reason. I repeated those thoughts again and again, hoping one explanation would finally feel true. I slipped my phone into my pocket and forced myself to stay calm. Maybe Olivia had to meet a client outside, I said. The guard gave a polite nod, but the uncertain expression never left the guard's face. I hope everything is fine. So do I. As I turned toward the exit, another employee walked through the lobby carrying a stack of folders. Everything okay? The employee asked. I can't find my wife. The employee stopped. Olivia Carter? Yes. I'm Sophia Bennett. Sophia supervises building security during the evening shift. I'm Ethan. Sophia studied my face for a moment. Ethan looks worried. I brought dinner because Olivia said another late meeting was happening. Sophia looked toward the security desk before speaking quietly. That sounds strange. What do you mean? Olivia hasn't entered the building tonight. My heart skipped a beat. Maybe Olivia forgot to scan the badge. I already checked every entrance. Every employee appears on the system. I tried to smile. There has to be a mistake. I wish Sophia could say that. Silence stretched between us. Finally, Sophia spoke again. Would Ethan like to sit down for a minute? I nodded. We walked to a small waiting area near the reception desk. I placed the dinner bag on the table. The food had already started getting cold. I don't understand, I whispered. Sophia folded both hands. I normally wouldn't get involved in personal matters. I appreciate any help. Every entrance and parking garage has CCTV cameras. I looked up. CCTV? Yes. My pulse quickened. Can anyone check the recordings? Only security staff. I don't want to break any rules. I know. Sophia hesitated before continuing. If this situation involves family, Sophia can request permission from the security manager. Would that really be possible? Only for a quick review. I took a deep breath. I don't even know what I'm hoping to find. Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes not knowing hurts even more. Sophia quietly stood. Please wait here. Several long minutes passed. Every second felt heavier than the last. I stared at the untouched dinner. The pasta reminded me of happier evenings. Best husband ever, Olivia used to say whenever I brought home dinner. The memory made my chest ache. Sophia returned. The manager approved a brief review. Thank you. Follow Sophia. We entered a small security office filled with computer monitors. Dozens of camera feeds covered one large screen. Sophia pointed toward chair. Please sit. I swallowed hard. My hands were shaking. Sophia typed a few commands. The recording starts at 6 o'clock. The video appeared. Cars enter the parking garage. Employees walk toward the elevators. Nothing looked unusual. Then my car appeared on the screen, entering the visitor parking area. That's me, I whispered. Sophia nodded without speaking. The recording moved backward to show earlier footage. A familiar silver SUV entered the garage. I recognized the vehicle immediately. That's Olivia's SUV. Sophia pressed pause. The timestamp shows 30 minutes before Ethan arrived. My breathing became uneven. Play the video. Sophia clicked the mouse. The SUV stopped near the far corner of the garage. The driver's door opened. Olivia stepped outside. A smile covered Olivia's face. A smile I hadn't seen at home for weeks. Then another door opened. A tall man climbed out from the passenger seat. The stranger laughed. Olivia laughed too. My fingers tightened around the edge of the desk. The man reached for Olivia's hand. I stared at the screen, unable to blink. Every instinct inside me screamed that my life was about to change forever. My heart pounded so hard that I could barely hear my own breathing. Who was that? I asked. Sophia looked at the monitor. I don't know the name. The video continued. Ryan opened the rear door of the SUV and pulled out a small gift bag. Olivia laughed. Ryan handed the gift to Olivia. Olivia hugged Ryan without hesitation. The hug lasted only a few seconds, but those seconds shattered 5 years of trust. I felt my hands turning cold. There has to be another explanation, I whispered. Sophia stayed silent. Ryan gently touched Olivia's face. Olivia smiled again. Then Ryan and Olivia walked toward the parking garage exit instead of the office entrance. They never entered the building, I said. No, Sophia replied quietly. My eyes stayed fixed on the screen. Every excuse I had repeated inside my mind disappeared. No late meeting. No emergency project. No overtime. Only lies. Sophia paused the recording. Ethan, would Ethan like to stop? I slowly shook my head. I've already seen enough. I'm sorry. This isn't Sophia's fault. I stood, but my legs felt weak. The dinner bag still rested on the chair beside me. The warm meal had become completely cold. I looked at the untouched containers. Only an hour earlier, I had imagined sharing dinner with my wife. Now the food felt like proof of my own foolish hope. I kept believing every excuse, I said. Trust isn't foolish, Sophia answered. Trust only becomes painful when someone decides to break it. I managed a small nod. Thank you for showing me the truth. I wish the truth had been kinder. So do I. Sophia printed a visitor report and handed it to me. The CCTV footage belongs to the company, so Sophia can't give Ethan a copy without legal approval. I understand. If Ethan ever needs official verification later, security records will still exist. Thank you. I picked up the dinner bag and walked toward the elevator. Every step felt heavier than the last. Outside, the evening air felt colder than before. I sat inside my car without starting the engine. My phone buzzed. Olivia's name appeared on the screen. I stared at the display until the ringing stopped. A text message arrived a few seconds later. Meeting is running late. Don't wait for dinner. I'll be home after 10. Love you. I read the message again. Then I looked at the cold dinner beside me. For the first time since my wedding day, the words love you felt empty. I didn't reply. I placed the phone face down on the passenger seat and rested both hands on the steering wheel. Anger wanted me to drive across the city and confront Olivia immediately. Heartbreak wanted me to cry. Pride wanted me to disappear. Instead, I started the engine and drove home in complete silence. The house felt different when I unlocked the front door. Every family photo, hanging on the wall, suddenly looked like a carefully staged performance. I placed the untouched dinner inside the refrigerator. I looked at my wedding ring for a long moment. Only one painful thought remained inside my mind. Trust hadn't died tonight. Trust had died long before I ever decided to bring dinner to the office. I barely slept after discovering the truth. Every time I closed my eyes, the parking garage appeared in my mind. I kept seeing Olivia smiling at Ryan. I kept hearing the words, "Meeting is running late." Morning arrived without peace. Olivia walked into the kitchen carrying a coffee mug. "Good morning." "Morning. You look tired." "I didn't sleep well. Work stress." "You could say that." Olivia smiled. "I'll probably stay late again tonight." The sentence almost made me laugh. "Another meeting?" "Yes. The campaign deadline is getting closer." "I understand." The lie came so easily that I wondered how many times Olivia had practiced the same answer. Olivia looked at the clock. "I have to leave. Drive safely." "You too." The front door closed. I waited until Olivia's car disappeared from the driveway before picking up my phone. Instead of driving to my office, I drove back to the corporate building. Sophia greeted me with a concerned expression. I hoped Ethan wouldn't need to come back. I wish I didn't. How can Sophia help? I need to know how long this has been happening. Sophia hesitated. Security policy doesn't allow random searches. I understand. I spoke with the security manager this morning. My heart raced. And the manager approved another review because Ethan may need evidence for legal reasons. Thank you. Sophia opened the security office. Rows of monitors filled the wall again. What dates would Ethan like to check? The last 3 weeks. Sophia entered several commands. The recordings loaded one after another. The first evening looked almost identical to the previous night. Olivia drove into the parking garage. Ryan arrived only minutes later. Neither Olivia nor Ryan entered the office. Instead, both vehicles left together. I cover my mouth. This wasn't one mistake. Sophia quietly nodded. We checked another date. The same pattern appeared. Another date. The same result. Another. The same lie. My chest tightened with every recording. I trusted every excuse. I'm sorry. I defended Olivia whenever friends questioned the late nights. Ethan couldn't have known. I should have known. Sophia gently turned off one monitor. Don't blame yourself for another person's choices. I lower my eyes. I still need more. What kind of evidence? I don't want any argument to become a battle of words. What does Ethan have in mind? Financial records. Sophia looked surprised. If hotel payments or expensive dinners exist, the truth won't stay hidden. I left the security office carrying a notebook filled with dates and times. My next stop wasn't my workplace. My next stop was the bank. For the first time in my marriage, I prayed that my instincts were wrong. Deep inside, I already knew the truth was only beginning to reveal itself. I walked into the bank and asked for copies of our joint account statements. The bank representative smiled politely. Good afternoon. How can I help? I need the last 3 months of transaction records. Joint account. Yes. Please show identification. I handed over my driver's license. A few minutes later, a thick stack of printed statements rested in front of me. Anything else? No. Thank you. I carried the papers to my car and started reading. At first, nothing looked unusual. Mortgage payments, utility bills, groceries, insurance. Then one charge caught my attention. A luxury hotel. $486? I whispered. I flipped to the next page. The same hotel appeared again. Another restaurant. Another expensive dinner. A jewelry boutique. None of those purchases happened with me. I opened the banking app and compared the dates with the notes Sophia had written. Every hotel charge matched a night Olivia claimed to be working late. Every expensive dinner matched another marketing meeting. I closed my eyes. The evidence continued growing without my help. My phone vibrated. Benjamin Hayes. I stared at the screen in surprise before answering. Hello. Ethan, it's Benjamin. It's been a long time. I heard Ethan left the company. I needed a break. I also heard stress played a big part. You could say that. Benjamin stayed quiet for a moment. Would Ethan meet me for coffee? I don't think I'm good company today. That's exactly why Ethan should come. An hour later, I sat across from Benjamin inside a quiet cafe. Benjamin looked at my face and sighed. Ethan hasn't smiled once. A lot has changed. Marriage. I looked down at my coffee. How did Benjamin know? I've managed people for 30 years. Broken hearts always look the same. I gave a tired smile. I found something I wish I had never seen. Benjamin didn't interrupt. I have proof my wife has been lying for weeks. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm still collecting evidence. Benjamin leaned forward. Because Ethan wants certainty. I already know enough. No. I looked up. Right now, Ethan wants explanations. I do, but explanations rarely heal anyone. What should I do? Benjamin answered without hesitation. Stop chasing reasons. I don't understand. Protect the future instead of chasing the past. I don't know how. Start with facts. I have CCTV recordings. Good. I have bank statements. Good. Part of me still hopes there's another explanation. Benjamin gently shook his head. The truth doesn't become smaller because someone refuses to look at it. I slowly nodded. Benjamin placed a business card on the table. If Ethan needs work again, one phone call is enough. I appreciate that. I've always trusted Ethan. Those simple words almost broke me. After everything I had discovered, hearing someone say the word trusted felt almost impossible. I left the cafe carrying more than a business card. I carried the first small reminder that my life could still move forward, even if my marriage was already falling apart. I spent the next 2 days collecting every piece of evidence I could find. I checked our phone records, late-night calls, hidden messages, weekend trips that never existed. Every answer led to another lie. By Friday evening, I knew I couldn't delay the conversation any longer. I placed the printed bank statements, the timeline from Sophia, and my handwritten notes inside a folder. When I heard the front door open, my heart became strangely calm. Hi. Olivia called. Welcome home. I'm exhausted. I'm sure. Olivia looked at me for a moment. Everything okay? We need to talk. The smile disappeared from Olivia's face. About what? Sit down. Olivia slowly sat across from me at the dining table. What happened? I placed a folder between us. Open it. Olivia looked confused. What is this? Proof. Olivia opened the folder. The first page showed the hotel charges. The second page listed dates. The third page matched every late meeting with another payment. Olivia looked at me again. Why were you checking my spending? I wasn't checking your spending. Then what? I was searching for the truth. Olivia folded both arms. I don't know what you're talking about. I took a slow breath. I visited your office. Olivia's eyes widened. When? The night I brought dinner. Silence filled the room. I waited in the lobby. The security office showed me the CCTV recordings. Olivia's face lost all color. You watched the cameras? I watched you leave the parking garage with Ryan. Olivia looked away. Several painful seconds passed. Finally, Olivia spoke. It isn't what you think. Then tell me what I should think. Ryan is only a friend. Friends don't lie about late meetings for 3 weeks. I was afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid you wouldn't understand. I gave you every chance to tell the truth. You were never home. I stared at Olivia in disbelief. So this is my fault. You worked all the time. I worked to build our future. I felt lonely. You could have talked to me. I tried. No, you chose someone else. Olivia wiped away tears. I never wanted this to happen. But it happened. I made mistakes. Mistakes happen once. I pointed at the papers. This happened again and again. Olivia lowered her head. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Please don't leave. I already lost my marriage the moment those lies began. I stood and picked up my car keys. Ethan, please. I won't argue. I'll change. I can't believe promises built on lies. Where are you going? I need peace. I walked to the front door. Ethan. I stopped without turning around. I truly loved you. I closed my eyes. Maybe you did. I opened the door. But love without honesty isn't enough. I walked outside without another word. For the first time since my wedding day, I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel revenge. I only felt the quiet certainty that my future would never include the person waiting behind that closed door. The divorce papers arrived 3 days later. I I stared at the envelope for several minutes before opening it. 5 years of marriage had been reduced to a stack of legal documents. My phone rang. An unknown number appeared on the screen. Hello. Good morning. My name is Grace Miller. Hello. I'm the attorney Benjamin Hayes recommended. Benjamin already called? Benjamin said you might need practical help instead of comforting words. I gave a weak laugh. Benjamin knows me well. Can we meet this afternoon? Yes. A few hours later, I walked into Grace's office. Grace stood and offered a handshake. I'm sorry we have to meet under these circumstances. So, please sit. I placed the divorce papers on a desk. I don't even know where to begin. We'll begin with facts. I like that answer. Grace opened the file. Did Olivia admit the relationship? Not directly. Do you have evidence? I have CCTV records, bank statements, and timelines. Good. I don't want revenge. That's helpful. I only want a fair ending. Grace nodded. Fair endings require calm decisions. I'm trying. Then don't make emotional choices. I won't. Grace closed the folder. Let me handle the legal battle. What should I do? Sleep. I almost laughed. I haven't slept in days. I can see that. Every room inside my house reminds me of Olivia. Then stop living inside memories. I wish it were that easy. It isn't easy. Grace smiled kindly. But it is possible. After leaving the office, I drove home. Silence welcomed me again. The living room looked exactly the same. Wedding photographs still covered the walls. 2 coffee mugs still rested beside the sink. One belonged to me. One belonged to Olivia. I picked up Olivia's mug and held it for a long moment. The memories hurt more than the object. My phone buzzed. Benjamin. Hello. How did the meeting go? Grace is exactly what I needed. I thought so. I still feel empty. That's normal. I don't know what comes next. I do. What? Come to my office tomorrow morning. Why? I have something important to discuss. I'm not ready for another job. Just come. Benjamin ended the call before I could ask another question. That night felt even longer than the previous one. I walked from room to room without purpose. Sleep refused to come. Every clock tick reminded me that another hour had passed without peace. Near sunrise, I looked into the bathroom mirror. Dark circles surrounded my eyes. I barely recognized the tired man staring back at me. For the first time, I asked myself one painful question. If I could no longer recognize my own reflection, how could I ever rebuild the life I had lost? I arrived at Benjamin's office the next morning, carrying more exhaustion than hope. Benjamin stood near the window. I'm glad Ethan came. I almost stayed home. I'm happy Ethan didn't. Benjamin pointed toward a chair. Sit down. I looked around the modern office. It's been a while since I've visited this place. A lot has changed. So has my life. Benjamin nodded. I know. An assistant entered with 2 cups of coffee. Benjamin smiled. Thank you. The assistant quietly left. Benjamin pushed 1 cup toward me. Drink. I haven't had much of an appetite. Then start with coffee. I took a slow sip. What did Benjamin want to discuss? A company. I frowned. I don't understand. I'm investing in a technology startup. Congratulations. I don't need congratulations. What does Benjamin need? I need a leader. I blinked in surprise. A leader? I want Ethan. I almost laughed. Benjamin must be joking. I'm completely serious. My marriage is falling apart. I know. My mind isn't clear. I know. I barely sleep. I know. So why would Benjamin trust me with a startup? Benjamin leaned forward. Because I remember the person Ethan was before heartbreak. I don't feel like that person anymore. That person still exists. I don't see any strength. I do. I look down at my coffee. I'm afraid I'll fail. Benjamin smiled. Everyone worth hiring says that. What if I make the wrong decisions? Then Ethan will learn. What if I disappoint everyone? Disappointment isn't permanent. Silence settled between us. Benjamin opened a folder and placed several documents on the desk. The company builds security software for businesses. I slowly turned the pages. The ideas look impressive. They need someone honest. I'm not a perfect person. I never asked for perfection. Benjamin pointed at me. I asked for integrity. Those words stayed with me. For the first time in weeks, I felt something different from sadness. I felt needed. Benjamin folded both hands. Think about the offer. I don't need much time. Really, I've spent too many days thinking about my past. Benjamin smiled. So, I want to build something new. Benjamin stood and offered a handshake. Welcome back. I shook Benjamin's hand. Thank you for believing in me. One more thing. What? Don't measure the future by someone else's betrayal. I slowly nodded. I'll try. No. Benjamin smiled again. Ethan won't try. I looked up. Ethan will succeed. As I left the office, my phone buzzed with a news notification. A business article mentioned growing rumors inside Olivia's company. I stared at the headline for a few seconds before putting the phone away. For the first time since discovering the affair, I didn't feel curious. I simply kept walking toward the future waiting in front of me. The divorce process moved forward without unnecessary arguments. Grace called me after every meeting. Everything is progressing. Any problems? Nothing unexpected. Thank you. Keep focusing on work. I will. Those conversations became short, but each call reminded me that my life was finally moving instead of standing still. The startup demanded every hour of my attention. I met engineers, designers, and investors. Every challenge forced me to think instead of remembering the past. One evening, Benjamin walked into my office. Long day, the longest yet. Benjamin smiled. That's a good sign. I actually enjoyed today. I can tell. I solved 3 problems before lunch. What about the 4th? I'm still working on that one. Benjamin laughed. The old Ethan is coming back. I hope so. Don't hope. I smiled. I know. Keep building. I will. That night, I stayed late preparing a presentation. While reviewing financial reports, my phone buzzed. An unfamiliar number appeared. I answered. Hello. Ethan. Yes. I work with Olivia. My grip tightened. Is everything okay? I thought Ethan should know something. What happened? Ryan has been arguing with Olivia almost every day. I stayed silent. People here shouting through the office walls. I didn't expect that. Ryan also borrowed money from several coworkers. Why are you telling me this? Because everyone believed Ryan was successful. And Ryan isn't paying anyone back. The call ended a minute later. I placed the phone on my desk. For several seconds, I simply stared at the dark screen. Months earlier, I would have rushed to learn every detail. Now I felt something completely different. Relief. I didn't feel happy about anyone's suffering. I didn't feel excited. I only realized that life had already started balancing the scales without my help. The next afternoon, Grace called again. The divorce should be finalized next week. That's faster than I expected. Both sides agreed on the settlement. I'm ready. I believe Ethan is. After ending the call, I looked around my office. Whiteboards covered with ideas. A growing team working together. People smiling because they believed in our future. Benjamin stepped into the doorway. Thinking about something? I finally understand something. What? I spent weeks believing revenge would bring peace. And I don't need revenge anymore. Benjamin nodded. What changed? I changed. I looked through the office window at the busy city below. Somewhere across town, Olivia was facing the consequences of personal choices. Somewhere across town, Ryan's lies were beginning to collapse. I didn't cause any of it. I didn't need to. Karma had quietly started doing the work I once believed belonged to me. For the first time since my marriage ended, I smiled without forcing myself. That smile didn't come from winning against anyone. That smile came from finally finding myself again. 3 months passed faster than I expected. Every morning started with meetings instead of painful memories. Every evening ended with progress reports instead of sleepless nights. Work slowly replaced the silence that once filled my life. Benjamin walked into my office carrying a folder. Busy, always. I hope you hear that. Benjamin placed the folder on my desk. What's this? Partnership proposals. I opened the folder. These companies want to work with us. They don't want to work with us. I looked up. They won't work with Ethan. I smiled. I didn't expect that. I did. I'm still learning. That's exactly why people trust Ethan. I read through the proposals one by one. This could change everything. It will. I closed the folder. I don't know if I'm ready. Benjamin laughed. Ethan said the same thing before accepting this job. I remember. And Ethan proved those doubts wrong. I'll give everything I have. I never doubted that. My phone vibrated. Sophia Bennett. I answered immediately. Hello, Sophia. I hope I'm not interrupting. Not at all. I need to tell Ethan something important. My smile disappeared. What happened? Another investigation started inside Olivia's company. I leaned back in my chair. Does this involve Ryan? Yes. What kind of investigation? Financial misconduct. I stayed silent. Sophia continued. The internal audit discovered unusual expense reports. Expense reports? Ryan submitted luxury hotel bills as business meetings. I slowly closed my eyes. I've seen some of those hotels before. I thought Ethan might recognize the dates. I do. Sophia lowered the voice. The investigators also found fake client dinners, personal vacations, and company credit card use. How serious is it? Very serious. I looked toward the office window. I don't know how to feel. I understand. I wanted justice. And now, I never expected it to arrive like this. Sophia paused before speaking again. Ryan is blaming other employees. I'm not surprised. Olivia's name also appeared in several reports. My grip tightened around the phone. Did Olivia approve those expenses? The investigators believe Olivia signed several documents. I don't know whether Olivia knew the truth. Neither do I. I sighed. Thank you for telling me. I thought Ethan deserved to know. I appreciate that. After ending the call, I remained silent for several moments. Benjamin noticed my expression. Bad news. I don't know. Benjamin sat across from me. What happened? Ryan is under investigation for financial fraud. Benjamin nodded slowly. I suspected something like that. You did. People who betray family rarely stop with one betrayal. I looked at the partnership folder again. Only a few months earlier, I believed exposing Olivia would bring satisfaction. Now another feeling had replaced anger. I simply hoped the truth would reach everyone involved without destroying innocent lives along the way. The partnership meetings filled most of my week. Every contract brought new responsibilities, and every decision reminded me that my future depended on discipline instead of anger. One afternoon, Benjamin walked into the conference room after the final presentation. Excellent work. Thank you. The investors looked impressed. I noticed they also asked one important question. What was it? They wanted to know if Ethan would become a permanent partner. I stared at Benjamin. A partner? Benjamin smiled. I've been preparing Ethan for that conversation. I thought I was only leading the company. You've already done much more. I still have a lot to learn. Learning never ends. I nodded. If becoming a partner helps the company grow, I'm ready. I knew Ethan would say that. Before Benjamin could continue, my phone vibrated again. Sophia. I answered immediately. Hello. The investigation moved faster than expected. What happened? Ryan was suspended this morning. I remained silent. Company auditors found fake invoices, altered receipts, and unauthorized travel expenses. Did Ryan admit anything? No. What about Olivia? Olivia keeps saying everything was approved in good faith. I close my eyes. Does anyone believe that? Not many people. Sophia sighed. Former co-workers have started avoiding Olivia. What? Nobody wants to become part of the investigation. I remembered office parties where everyone admired Olivia's confidence. Now, those same people were disappearing. Anything else? Yes. What is it? Ryan blamed Olivia during today's interview. My heart sank. Ryan blamed Olivia? Ryan claimed Olivia signed every reimbursement request. I don't know if that's true. Neither do the investigators. I thanked Sophia and ended the call. Benjamin studied my face. The situation keeps getting worse. It does. Benjamin folded both hands. Does Ethan feel satisfied? I thought carefully before answering. No. Why not? Because this isn't victory. What is it? It's the price people pay after making one dishonest choice after another. Benjamin nodded. That's an important difference. That evening, while leaving the office, I received another unexpected call. This time a number belonged to Olivia. I stared at the screen until the ringing stopped. A text message arrived seconds later. Please answer. Ryan left. Ryan disappeared after the suspension. I need someone to talk to. I read the message twice. Months earlier, I would have rushed across the city. Now I quietly locked my phone and placed it inside my pocket. I couldn't rescue someone who had refused to protect our marriage. I walked to my car carrying sympathy instead of love, and I realized those two feelings were no longer the same. I ignored Olivia's message for 2 days. The silence wasn't punishment. The silence gave me time to understand my own heart. Grace called while I was reviewing partnership documents. Good afternoon. Hello, Grace. I wanted to confirm everything is officially finished. The divorce? Yes. So this chapter is finally over. It is. Grace paused. Can I ask one personal question? Of course. If Olivia contacts Ethan again, what will Ethan do? I looked through the office window. I honestly don't know. That's a fair answer. I don't hate Olivia. I believe that. But I can't forget everything that happened. You don't have to. I keep wondering if forgiveness means giving another chance. Grace answered gently. No. What does forgiveness mean? It means refusing to let someone else's mistakes control the rest of your life. Those words stayed with me long after the call ended. Later that evening, Benjamin joined me for dinner after work. Benjamin noticed my quiet expression. Still thinking about forgiveness. Benjamin smiled. That's harder than business. It really is. What conclusion did Ethan reach? I can't forgive. And I can't rebuild trust. Benjamin nodded. Trust grows slowly. It also disappears quickly. Exactly. We finished dinner and walked outside. The cool evening air felt peaceful. For the first time in months, I believed the hardest part of my life had finally ended. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Olivia. Please. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. I stared at the screen. Benjamin looked at me. Olivia. Yes. What will Ethan do? I don't know. Benjamin placed a hand on my shoulder. Whatever Ethan decides, make sure the decision brings peace. I will. I drove home in complete silence. When I turned into my apartment parking lot, I noticed a familiar silver SUV parked near the entrance. My heartbeat slowed. I already knew who was waiting. I stepped out of my car. Olivia stood beside the sidewalk wearing a simple gray coat. The confident smile that once attracted every room had disappeared. Dark circles surrounded tired eyes. The expensive handbag was gone. The elegant business clothes had been replaced by plain jeans and an old sweater. Olivia looked smaller than I remembered. Not physically, emotionally. I stopped several feet away. Neither of us spoke for a long moment. Finally, Olivia broke the silence. Ethan, I waited. I know I don't deserve another chance. I remained quiet. I'm not asking for one. The evening breeze carried another long silence between us. Olivia looked down at the ground before speaking again. Ryan left when the investigation started. I said nothing. Friends stopped answering my calls. Another painful pause followed. I finally understand everything I destroyed. I took a slow breath. What do you want from me? A tear rolled down Olivia's face. One final conversation. The words echoed inside my mind as I stood frozen beneath the fading evening light. I looked at Olivia for several long seconds before speaking. You wanted one final conversation. Yes. I'm listening. Olivia wiped away another tear. I don't expect forgiveness. I haven't promised anything. I know. I unlocked my apartment door. We can talk inside. Thank you. The apartment felt strangely quiet. Once, this place had been our home. Now it felt like a room filled with memories instead of love. I placed 2 glasses of water on the table. Olivia looked around. Everything looks different. So do I. Olivia lowered tired eyes. I noticed. Silence settled between us. Finally, Olivia took a deep breath. I lied. I know. I kept believing I could hide everything. I know. I thought excitement was happiness. I remained quiet. I thought attention from Ryan made me feel important. I folded my hands. Keep talking. I became greedy. I looked at Olivia without anger. I wanted a better title. I remember. I wanted expensive dinners. I remember. I wanted people to admire me. I nodded slowly. I forgot the person waiting at home. The words hurt, but not the way they once would have. I destroyed our marriage. You did. I destroyed your trust. You did. I kept blaming work. Yes. I blamed loneliness. Yes. I even blamed you. You did. Olivia covered the face with both hands. I hate remembering those excuses. I waited quietly. The truth is much uglier. What truth? My own pride. I didn't interrupt. I believed success made me deserve more. And now, I understand success without honesty means nothing. The room became silent again. After several moments, Olivia looked at me. Why aren't you angry? I answered honestly. I already lived through the anger. You don't hate me? Hate disappeared a long time ago. What replaced hate? Acceptance. Olivia looked surprised. I thought Ethan would yell. Almost did months ago. What changed? I stopped fighting the past. Another tear rolled down Olivia's face. I wish I had learned that lesson sooner. I wish that too. Olivia looked down at the wedding ring still resting on one finger. I never removed it. I noticed. I kept hoping. I didn't. The sentence hung between us. Not because I wanted to hurt Olivia. Because the sentence was simply true. For the first time since sitting down together, I realized my heart wasn't asking for another chance. My heart was only asking for peace. Olivia slowly removed the wedding ring and placed it on the table. I should have done this a long time ago. I looked at the ring without reaching for it. It doesn't belong to me anymore. I know. I kept carrying hope. I stopped carrying hope months ago. Olivia nodded. I can finally see that. The room became quiet again. After a long pause, Olivia stood. I won't keep Ethan here any longer. Take care of yourself. I'll try. Olivia walked toward the door, then stopped. One last question. Go ahead. Will Ethan ever remember me with kindness? I thought carefully before answering. I'll remember the good years. And the bad ones? I'll remember those too. I'm sorry. I believe that. Olivia lowered tired eyes. But believing doesn't erase consequences. I understand. Olivia quietly left the apartment. The door closed. I looked at the wedding ring resting on the table for several moments before placing it inside a small wooden box. Some memories deserved respect. None deserved another chance. The following week, Grace invited me to lunch. Grace smiled after I sat down. Ethan looks different. In a good way? In the best way. What changed? Peace. Grace nodded. I noticed. I finally listened to the advice about forgiveness. And I forgave Olivia. Grace smiled again. Did forgiveness bring Olivia back? No. Did forgiveness erase the betrayal? No. So what changed? I stopped carrying the weight. Grace raised a coffee cup. That's real healing. Before I could answer, my phone displayed a breaking news alert. The headline mentioned Ryan Brooks. I opened the article. Ryan had been formally charged with corporate fraud, falsifying expense reports, and misusing company funds. Additional investigations were already underway. Grace quietly watched my expression. Bad news. Ryan is facing criminal charges. Grace slowly nodded. Karma sometimes takes longer than people expect. I don't feel happy. I didn't think Ethan would. I only feel relieved. That's healthy. Another notification appeared. Several business websites had already published the story. Ryan's photograph filled the screen beside the words financial fraud investigation. The career Ryan had protected through lies collapsed in a single afternoon. I locked my phone and placed it beside my coffee. Months earlier, I would have celebrated that headline. Now, I simply looked out the restaurant window, grateful that my future no longer depended on another person's downfall. A few days after meeting Grace, Benjamin asked me to stop by the office. I have news, Benjamin said. I hope it's good. I think Ethan will decide. Benjamin handed me a sealed envelope. What is this? Open it. I unfolded the letter and read every page carefully. When I reached the last line, I looked up in disbelief. This can't be real. It is. Chief Executive Officer? Benjamin smiled. I've decided to retire. I wasn't expecting this. I've been preparing Ethan for months. I thought I was only helping the company grow. Ethan did much more than that. I placed the letter on the desk. There are people with more experience. There are people older than me. There are. So why choose me? Benjamin folded both hands. Because experience teaches skills. I waited. Character builds companies. The words settled deeply inside my heart. I don't know what to say. Say yes. I laughed for the first time in weeks. Benjamin makes difficult decisions sound simple. They usually are. I looked around the office. The same room once felt impossible to imagine leading. Now I could picture the future with confidence instead of fear. I accept. Benjamin stood and extended a hand. Congratulations, Chief Executive Officer. I shook Benjamin's hand firmly. Thank you for believing in me. I only opened the door. I still had to walk through it. Exactly. We spent the next hour discussing transition plans, leadership goals, and the company's future. Every conversation focused on growth instead of survival. Every decision reminded me how far I had come. When I finally left the office, my phone buzzed with another news update. Olivia. I hesitated before opening the message. Every interview ended the same way. Nobody wants to hire me after everything became public. Every mistake followed me into every meeting. I finally understand that reputation takes years to build and only moments to lose. I don't expect anything from Ethan. I only wanted Ethan to know I truly regret every choice. I read the message once. Then I quietly locked my phone. I didn't answer. Not because I wanted revenge. Not because I wanted Olivia to suffer. Some conversations had already reached their natural ending. I looked toward the city skyline, glowing beneath the evening sun. Months earlier, betrayal had convinced me that my life was over. Now I understood something completely different. Heartbreak had never been the end of my story. Heartbreak had become the foundation that taught me strength, patience, wisdom, and purpose. I started my car with a peaceful smile. For the first time in many years, I wasn't driving away from pain. I was driving toward the future I had earned with honesty, resilience, and the quiet decision to keep moving forward no matter how deeply life had once broken my heart. 6 months passed before I finally realized how much my life had changed. Every morning, I walked into the office with confidence instead of doubt. Every decision carried responsibility, but the responsibility no longer frightened me. I wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone. I simply wanted to lead with honesty. Benjamin stepped into my office with a familiar smile. Busy as always? I learned that lesson from Benjamin. Benjamin laughed. I'll take that as a compliment. It was. Benjamin placed a folder on my desk. Everything is ready. For tonight? Yes. I looked at the invitation inside the folder. The company anniversary celebration. More than 200 employees would attend. I've never liked standing on a stage. You'll do more than stand there. I looked up. What does Benjamin mean? You'll find out. Benjamin refused to say another word. That evening, the ballroom buzzed with conversation. Employees, investors, and business partners filled every table. Grace waved from across the room. You finally made it. I almost stayed in the office. Grace smiled. Work can wait for one evening. I suppose you're right. You look happier. I feel happier. Grace studied my face. I don't see the sadness anymore. It still exists. Then what's different? I stopped letting sadness control every decision. Grace nodded. I noticed. The lights dimmed. Benjamin walked onto the stage. A warm round of applause filled the ballroom. Benjamin adjusted the microphone. Thank you, everyone. The room became quiet. When I founded this company, I dreamed of building more than successful software. Benjamin smiled toward the audience. I wanted to build honest leadership. I listened carefully. During the last year, one person reminded me that integrity still matters. My heart started beating faster. Benjamin looked directly at me. Ethan Carter. Several heads turned in my direction. I froze. Benjamin continued speaking. Ethan faced personal hardship, yet Ethan never allowed pain to become an excuse for dishonesty. The applause grew louder. I slowly stood. Benjamin extended a hand toward the stage. Please join me. I walked forward while trying to calm my nerves. Benjamin smiled. The future of this company belongs in trustworthy hands. I already knew what Benjamin was about to say. Even so, hearing the words felt unreal. I officially recognized Ethan Carter as my successor. The ballroom erupted with applause. I looked across the crowd and saw Grace smiling proudly. For a brief moment, I remembered the broken man who once sat alone inside a dark apartment, believing life had ended. Standing beneath the bright lights, I quietly realized life had only been waiting for a new beginning. The applause continued long after Benjamin stepped away from the microphone. I accepted the award with both hands and looked across the crowded ballroom. So many people believe in me, I said. They do, Benjamin replied. I hope I deserve that trust. You already proved it. I smiled. I'll spend every day protecting it. Benjamin nodded. I never expected a better answer. After the ceremony ended, dozens of employees gathered around me. Congratulations, Ethan. Thank you. We're excited about the future. So am I. One employee stepped forward. What advice would Ethan give everyone here? I thought for a moment. Never build success by sacrificing honesty. The room became quiet. I learned that money can disappear. Several employees nodded. Titles can disappear. More heads nodded. But character stays with us every single day. The room filled with applause once again. Later that evening, Grace joined me on the outdoor balcony overlooking the city. Need some fresh air? Grace asked. I definitely do. Grace laughed. Chief Executive Officer looks good on Ethan. I'm still getting used to hearing those words. You earned them. I appreciate that. We stood quietly for a few moments. The city lights stretched across the horizon. Grace finally broke the silence. Can I ask something personal? Of course. Has Ethan ever thought about starting another relationship? I smiled gently. I've thought about it. And I'm not ready. Grace nodded without disappointment. I respect that. I don't want another relationship to become a way of escaping the past. I understand. I want every future decision to come from peace instead of loneliness. Grace smiled warmly. That's one of the healthiest answers I've ever heard. Thank you. I'll still be here as a friend. I'm grateful for that. Before either of us spoke again, my phone buzzed. A business news article appeared on the screen. The headline showed my photograph beside the company's latest success. Another smaller article appeared underneath. Olivia had quietly resigned after failing to find another executive position. I looked at the screen for only a few seconds before locking my phone. Grace noticed. Everything okay? Yes. No bad memories? The memories still exist. What about the pain? I looked across the glowing skyline. The pain no longer decides who I become. Grace smiled. I think that's real freedom. For the first time in years, I completely agreed. A few weeks after the celebration, I arrived at the office before sunrise. The building felt quiet. I walked through every department before anyone else arrived. Each empty desk reminded me how much responsibility rested on my shoulders. Benjamin joined me with 2 cups of coffee. Old habit, Benjamin asked. I still like early mornings. So do I. Benjamin handed me a cup. I've watched Ethan grow into this role. I couldn't have done it alone. Nobody succeeds alone. I smiled. But everyone chooses whether success comes with integrity. Benjamin raised the coffee cup. Exactly. After Benjamin left, I stood beside the large office window. My phone vibrated. A short news interview appeared online. The reporter asked Olivia one final question. What would Olivia change if another chance existed? The answer appeared beneath the video. I would choose honesty before ambition. I would protect my family before chasing approval. Every consequence came from my own decisions. I quietly locked my phone. I didn't feel satisfaction. I didn't feel bitterness. I simply hoped Olivia would eventually find peace by accepting the truth. Later that afternoon, Grace stopped by my office. Busy. Always. Grace laughed. Some things never change. I hope a few things never do. Grace smiled. Coffee after work? I'd like that. As friends. I nodded. As friends. Grace extended a hand. That's enough for now. It is. After Grace left, I looked around my office. Months earlier, I believed success would erase every painful memory. I had been wrong. Success built confidence. Success created opportunities. Success gave me purpose. But success never healed my heart. Forgiveness healed my heart. The decision to let go of anger healed my heart. The choice to stop living inside yesterday healed my heart. As the sun slowly disappeared beyond the city skyline, I picked up the small wooden box that had remained inside my desk drawer for months. Inside rested my old wedding ring. I looked at the ring one final time. Thank you for the good memories, I whispered. Then I closed the box. I walked outside and dropped the box into a donation container that accepted precious metals for charitable fundraising. I didn't need the ring anymore. I didn't need the pain anymore. I didn't need the past anymore. I took one deep breath and looked toward the road ahead. For the first time in many years, my future felt completely open. The betrayal that once destroyed my life had unexpectedly become the beginning of my strongest chapter. I smiled, unlocked my car, and drove forward without looking into the rearview mirror. Some journeys end with revenge. My journey ended with forgiveness, hope, and the quiet confidence that even the deepest heartbreak can become the foundation of a better life when I choose courage over bitterness every single day.